The story of Boaz, the Kinsman Redeemer, became a symbol of God's love and redemption, a story that still inspires us today to show kindness, loyalty, and trust in God's plans. Long ago, in the land of Israel, there lived a kind and honorable man named Boaz. He was a respected farmer in Bethlehem, known for his fairness and generosity. Boaz was not just wealthy in possessions but also in kindness. His fields of barley stretched as far as the eye could see, and his workers loved him for the way he treated everyone with respect. One day, during the harvest season, Boaz noticed a young woman gleaning in his field. She worked quietly, picking up the leftover grain the harvesters had missed. Her clothes were simple, and her face showed determination despite the hardships she had endured. Her name was Ruth. Ruth was not from Bethlehem. She was a Moabite, a foreigner. She had come to Israel with her mother-in-law, Naomi, after both their husbands had passed away. Ruth had chosen to stay with Naomi, saying, "Where you go, I will go, where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God." Her loyalty to Naomi was rare and beautiful, and word of it had spread throughout Bethlehem. Boaz approached his workers and asked, "Who is this young woman?" "She is Ruth," one of them replied. "She came back with Naomi from Moab. She's been working hard all day, gathering grain to provide for her and her mother-in-law." Boaz's heart was moved. He saw not just a hard worker but a woman of great courage and devotion. He walked over to Ruth and said kindly, "My daughter, don't go and glean in another field. Stay here with my workers. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and follow after the women. I've told my men not to lay a hand on you. And whenever you are thirsty, help yourself to the water jars." Ruth was overwhelmed by his kindness. She bowed low and asked, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes, since I am a foreigner?" Boaz smiled. "I've heard about everything you've done for your mother-in-law since your husband's death, how you left your homeland and came to live among a people you didn't know. May the Lord reward you richly for what you have done. You have taken refuge under his wings." From that day, Boaz made sure Ruth was cared for. He even instructed his workers to leave extra grain behind for her to gather. Ruth returned home that evening with an abundance of barley and told Naomi all that had happened. Naomi's heart was filled with hope. "Boaz is one of our family's kinsman redeemers," Naomi explained. "That means he has the right to help us. He could even marry you and restore what we've lost." As the harvest continued, Ruth stayed close to Boaz's workers. Naomi, seeing Boaz's kindness, came up with a plan. "Tonight, Boaz will be winnowing barley at the threshing floor," she said. "Wash, put on your best clothes, and go to him. When he lies down to sleep, uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." Ruth did as Naomi instructed. In the quiet of the night, she approached Boaz and lay at his feet. Startled, Boaz woke up and asked, "Who are you?" "I am your servant, Ruth," she replied. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, for you are a kinsman redeemer." Boaz understood what Ruth was asking. It was a bold request, but one filled with humility and trust. She was asking him to take her as his wife and redeem her family. "The Lord bless you, my daughter," Boaz said. "You have shown kindness by choosing me, a man older than you, instead of seeking younger men. Don't be afraid, I will do everything you ask. But first, there is another kinsman redeemer who is closer in relation. I must give him the opportunity to redeem you. If he chooses not to, I will surely do it." The next day, Boaz went to the town gate, where business was conducted. He called the other kinsman Redeemer and gathered witnesses. Boaz explained the situation. Naomi was selling a piece of land that belonged to her late husband, Elimelech. The closest kinsman had the right to redeem it, but it came with the responsibility of marrying Ruth. The man hesitated. "I cannot redeem it," he said. "It might endanger my own estate." "You redeem it yourself." Boaz's heart leapt with joy. Before the witnesses, he declared, "Today, I am redeeming all that belonged to Elimelech, and I will take Ruth as my wife." Ruth and Boaz were married, and their union was blessed by God. They had a son named Obed, who would become the grandfather of King David. Through their faithfulness and obedience, Ruth and Boaz became part of God's grand plan to bring salvation to the world. And so, Boaz, the kinsman redeemer, became a symbol of God's love and redemption, a story that still inspires us today to show kindness, loyalty, and trust in God's plans.